So finally, I'm going to start something that I've always wanted to start ever since I started this channel, and that is going to be a beginner-friendly makeup series. So we're going to start completely from the initial part of it, like where we just start with the skin prep, and I'm going to take you all the way completely towards the final step of makeup, and I'm going to include a lot of my tips and tricks as well as the process and procedure, and of course product recommendations for you. So that is what we're going to be starting out with. It's going to be a super long series. I'm just going to make sure that I post almost every week for this. That way we can kind of learn together, and I'll leave the comment section open for you to always go ahead and ping me. You can also reach out to me on Instagram if you have any personal questions to always ask. So that is basically what we're going to be doing, and let's start with something which is our topic for the day, and that is skin prep. I got my notes and everything ready, so we're just going to be targeting on one factor for today, which is skin prep, and let's talk about why we need it first of all. So the first thing is that if you directly go ahead with makeup on your skin, it's not going to give you that perfect looking kind of skin finish. You want to make sure that your skin is well prepared, and that's what skin prep stands for. That way your skin can actually kind of work well with whatever product you're going to put on top of it. Think of it kind of like working on a wall before you start ahead with painting the wall. You want to make sure that the surface is good and the surface is a lot more smoother and it's well moisturized. That way your foundation can go on a lot more easily upon the skin without making it look like the texture is not good. So I'm not too sure that you've seen how makeup texture looks. I'm going to insert a couple of pictures over here for that, and that way you can see how that looks, and you want to make sure that you can take your skin from that to looking something a lot more realistic and a lot more natural, and that's what we're aiming for. And the first step to that will start with your facial hair. Now, facial hair is a big concern when it comes to makeup, and this is one of the most biggest problems that we have to deal with when you start working on your skin. So of course, facial hair is completely natural. I have it, you have it, everyone has it. It's totally normal. Some can have more, some can have less. It's something that you really can't control. So the best way is to identify whether you want to deal with it by removing it, or you can actually just let it be, and both ways it does work out well. But understand that facial hair is going to impact the texture of your makeup. So if you want your makeup to look like completely flawless and perfection, I think you have to get rid of facial hair for that. So ideally speaking, there are a couple of ways that you can do it. So first is threading. You can go for like a full face threading, or second is waxing, and third is just by using a razor. Now razor meaning not the body razors, I mean the face razors. So I personally love to use a face razor because threading is like too painful for me, and waxing is again like you gotta wait for the hair to grow to a certain length and stuff. So a face razor is the best thing ever, and no, your hair does not grow thicker. Moving on to skin prep and how do we kind of approach it. The first thing to figure out is what is your skin type. So identify whether you're oily, dry, normal, combination, or sensitive. So once you figure this out, what you can do is to kind of start getting products which is suited to your skin type. So I'm just going to leave a couple of product recommendations for you below, which is going to be for dry skin and for oily skin, and the rest of you can kind of, just use either of these two, and that should work perfectly for you. So I'm going to leave this list, and I'll have a couple of product recommendations based on what I like, and depending on the price point and everything like that. So make sure you check that one out. So step one in the entire routine is going to be about washing your face. So once you finish washing your face, you can consider exfoliating, but do not overdo it. At the max, stick to 2 to 3 times in a week. There are physical exfoliators as well as chemical exfoliators. I'm not jumping into the depth of this in this video, but you can always look this two up. It's a lot more fun and a lot more of a very interesting topic. So once you choose your exfoliator, that is going to help you to work on the skin texture. So you can get rid of all that dead skin cells, or tiny areas where you have a little bit of kind of that dry patches going on and small bumps on the skin, all those kind of things. So texture, the skin texture, the 3D part of the skin. So that's going to basically help overall with that. Understand that no kind of makeup can help you cover skin texture. Your skin texture is completely based upon the way you take care of your skin, plus external things like food, genetics, and all those kind of things. So to make sure that that doesn't happen, you're going to apply a toner, and you will wait until that kind of gets absorbed into your skin, and then we move ahead to the next step. Now, this is the point where you can add other things like essences, ampules, serums, etc., etc., etc. But because you're a beginner, let's jump directly to moisturizer. So toner, and then we're going to move on to step number 4, which is your moisturizer. So go ahead with your moisturizer, and in case you're a little more on the high maintenance side, you can definitely use an eye cream, and that way you don't have to use your moisturizer on your under eye. But in case you're waiting to splurge on an eye cream, directly jump to using your moisturizer on your under eye and on the eyelid area also, and then you will wait for your moisturizer to absorb into your skin, and then you can move ahead to using a sunscreen. The key factor in whatever I just told you right now, and of course please include a lip balm also, with your skincare routine, is that you want to make sure that by the time you finish your entire routine, your skin feels bouncy. You want that bounciness on the skin. Yes, it can look like it's a little wet and oily kind of thing, but that is gonna completely get sorted out once you start doing your makeup. So you need to make sure that your skin is bouncy and it is slippery. Now by slippery, I don't mean that oily slippery. I just mean that watery kind of slipperiness. Like my skin is slippery. When your skin is slightly slippery, it's going to become a better base for your makeup to work upon and for your skin to look good once you finish all the steps towards the final one. So we're kind of backtracking and we're making sure that our skin has a sufficient amount of hydration before we go ahead with makeup. Because once you start putting things on, you can't go back and increase moisturizer on your skin. Hence, this needs a little bit of trial and error. Work across the entire week to understand how much of moisturizer you need for this makeup look once you finish learning everything. So that way you will get that right balance to know, okay, this works for me, this does not work for me. I need so much, maybe I need more and maybe you need lesser. So you can kind of figure that out once you start doing the trial and error. So another thing I wanted to tell you is that there are certain sunscreens which are silicone formulated ones. There are some of the products which are kind of like aloe vera gel which dry up on your skin. Like you apply it, it's nice and gooey and everything. And once it dries, it just kind of gets like a thin film which is on your skin. The problem with these products is that, I mean, they're fine for a nighttime routine or if you're not wearing makeup, but the thing is that these kind of products, when you use it under your makeup, and if you go ahead with your makeup in pulling motions, like let's say you're going to do your foundation and you're going to pull, it's gonna move all that stuff and you'll get these kind of foundation threads or foundation balls on your skin. That's like the most weirdest thing ever, and that ruins your makeup's texture. So ensure that whatever product you're using does not dry up on your skin. Like it's just going to remain. Your moisturizer is going to remain. And that is one reason why I really do not like those silicone based ones or those oil free formulations. I prefer the ones which are more of a water based formulation or a lot more on the emollient side. That seems to work perfectly fine. Let's assume that you've finished your skincare. Give it 10 minutes and then you will wait and you will see how your skin looks. And at this point of time, your under eyes should not look dry. Any area of your face should not look dry. And then comes the factor where you have to make a decision about the finish that you want with your look. Now, let's say that you want your entire makeup look to be ultra matte. Now, what is a matte finish when it comes to makeup? It's kind of the way how my skin looks right now. There is no light which is reflecting off it. It's just kind of flat, right? So it does not look oily, it does not look shiny. That is basically a matte finish. Ideally speaking, matte finishes are good for people with oily skin. Ideally speaking, matte finishes are great if you want transfer-proof makeup or if you want your makeup to kind of last very, very, very long. At that point of time, a matte finish product would be great. And also matte finish products are great to make your skin look less textured. So in case you have too much texture, a matte finish is pretty ideal to go ahead with. Now, when we talk about matte finish and let's say after 10 minutes, your skin still feels like a little oily or kind of looks a little bit on the wet side, go ahead with a tissue and slightly dab over it. That way there's any excess product, it's going to get absorbed into the tissue. So in case you want a dewy finish, now what is a dewy finish? It's wet looking skin. You want your skin to look wet. Not shiny, not shimmery, not metallic. Wet, glossy finish. That is called as dewy skin. So in case you want your skin to look wet and glossy, then kind of make sure that your skin prep is like extremely nourishing and very, very, very hydrating and moisturizing. And then we wait for 10 minutes and then we jump into makeup, which will be in your next video. So that's about it for today. I think it's kind of pretty easy and simple. I'll leave the product links for you down in the description bar below, and make sure you check it out. Watch the video another time if it kind of went over your head. So I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.